All right, everyone. Parshat Tisa is a very, very interesting discussion. It's something that's we're going to stride both sides of the argument. This week, we're talking about the Torah and the Jewish people's connection to it, our role in it. Now, our job is to learn Torah. So, is it when you're learning Torah? Is it about it's God's wisdom? It's a holy book. It's God's book, or is it's a book of wisdom because it comes from God. It's very wise, so it makes you wise. So you find the book, and the book has tremendous content. How much do you focus on the author, and how much do you focus on the content?
In most books that I read, I concentrate on the content without regard for the author.
Right.
I appreciate the author's efforts. I appreciate and enjoy reading that particular author, but my concentration is on the content.
Okay. And even if it makes sense, but let's say the author is an amazing guy, right, or some
Brad Meltzer.
I don't know, Metzger. I don't know who.
Meltzer, Brad Meltzer.
Right, or let's say you found out the author was a very unique individual, right? Whatever it is. You thought, oh wow, yeah, how he did this, book, let's say written by Helen Keller. Oh, and then you read the book, you find out about Helen Keller. She was blind, she was deaf. Even though now there's a whole controversy, it woke up again. It's interesting how controversies they go through like 50-year cycles.
What controversy?
You mean they say she was faking it?
Yeah.
Oh, give me a break.
No, she was faking, or she wasn't really, or her teacher made it up. Yeah. It's floating around now, and it's back. Anyway, so we have the content and the author. The question is, it says what would be the focus. See the question for discussion on page 147. When you study the Torah, what is 57. Sorry, 57. When you study the Torah,
That's one.
Yeah. What is your primary focus? Is it the wisdom you're learning, or is it the fact that it is Hashem's book? Now, if it's a book written by Helen Keller, it's easy to get excited, right? She was blind and she was deaf, and at least she says she was, and so
In a very clear voice.
Right. So it's easy to get excited. But when you're talking about the Eibishter, God is abstract and invisible being. It's not always easy to get excited about the fact that Hashem wrote a book. He's an invisible guy. So let's go into it, and we're going to straddle both sides. So here we go. So in this week's Torah portion, we have the greatest national calamity that ever happened to the Jewish people. In fact, in this week's Torah portion says there's not a tragedy or a negative occurrence that happens to the Jewish people, Hiran, it doesn't have an element of punishment, retribution, or whatever you want to call it, based on the actions of this week's Torah portion. This week's the Torah portion is the we want to call it national insanity. You have personal insanity, and then you have societal insanity. This week is societal insanity, and what happens is, in a moment of sheer, seemingly stupidity, the Jewish people make a golden calf. A mere 40 days after God Himself came down to Mount Sinai and said, "Don't make any idols." It's not like they ate chametz on Pesach. It's not part of the 10 Commandments, right? It's not like they, I don't know. It's they mix milk and meat. Not part of the 10 Commandments. Commandment number 2. Number 1 is I'm God. Number 2, don't make any idols. What do?
Make an idol.
They make an idol. Now we're not going to get into it about what they were thinking and how it can happen. That's a whole different class. I think maybe if you go to YouTube, search history of our previous classes, you might find it. But the whole story, Moshe comes down, and I was telling Cyril this week. Sometimes you learn about history and you wish you could have a video camera, right? It says, I wish I had a camera just on the people's faces, because they thought Moses would die. The story is they thought Moses was dead. Moses said he went up on a mountain. They thought, something happened. He was dead, and they needed a new leader. That's what the text said. The text says, chapter 32, 31, 32, that 33, I can't remember, that Moses was delayed. They thought Moses was dead, and they needed a new leader, and they came up with this cockamamie idea.
I thought it was they miscalculated the days.
They did.
Oh, okay.
No, Moses wasn't delayed. Moses was exactly on time. They made
They made the
they made a
mistake
mistake.
in how they calculated when he was supposed to come
Right.
back.
So I wish I had a and they, by the way, they did it by Mount Sinai. This all happened by Mount Sinai, It's not like they traveled somewhere else. Right? This is 40 days later, still Mount Sinai. So I wish I had a camera when Moses came down the mountain with the two tablets. The Jewish people have that OMG, oh no,
No. Oh, cow droppings.
exactly. It's being recorded. So Moshe comes down, he sees the golden calf, he smashes the tablets, and he goes up on Mount Sinai for 40 days, and he's begging God, forget to forgive, just asking God not to destroy the Jewish people, because God said, that's it, these guys are obnoxious, they don't listen, here it is 40 days after I asked them not to serve idols, and they make an idol, they deserve to be destroyed, and Moshe is begging them for 40 days. 40 days, it takes God to say, all right, I'm not going to destroy them, but I can't really be involved. I'm going to send an angel, and God tells Moshe to bring up 2 new stones, and he's going to write up the second tablets. And then on the third, and at the end of the third set of 40 days, Moshe comes down with 2 sets of tablets. Also, he got God to agree to forgive them, and that day became the day of Yom Kippur. That's the 10th day of Tishrei. That's how Moshe comes down with the 2 tablets. That's the day that God says, I forgive the Jewish people. And that's the day of forgiveness from then and forever. So there's a lot of commentary about where did Moshe put the tablets. Okay, so we know
My garage with everything else.
that is a viable theory. Very believable.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, it's in Indiana Jones' Hilarious Garage. I'm surprised it didn't make it into the movie. It was probably cut.
It used to be a radio show, but it was called Fibber McGee's Closet.
Yes. That's another good place they could have put it.
By the way, just the name Fibber McGee sounds like it's from the 50s. Anyway,
Before. Radio.
radio.
Radio back in the late 40s, early 50s.
I said 50s. Anyway, so there was a golden ark. Okay. Everyone agrees. This is not for discussion. Everyone agrees that the second set of tablets, the whole set of tablets, were put in the golden ark. The question is, what was with the broken pieces? Moshe broke the tablets. Did he leave them on the side of the mountain?
No.
I thought he threw the tablets down and they caused an earthquake and everybody who was... Thank
No,
you,
that
Sister
was
Be the
Korach.
No.
Korach had the
No, that's not in the Torah. That's Warner Brothers.
Cecil B. DeMille.
Are Warner Brothers Jewish? I don't know. I know Goldman something.
Metro
Metro
Goldwyn
Goldwyn
Mayer.
Mayer.
They're Jewish, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They
Or
were
Miramax is Jewish, right? Warner Brothers, I don't know. No, that's not what happened. What happens is in the Torah is that Moshe throws them down, they break. Then Moshe takes the golden calf and he grinds it into dust and he makes everyone drink. Some of them died by the plague. Some of them were executed by the people from the tribe of Levi. Some of them just died by. Right. If you look at the commentary, and Rashi explains. So, no, the earthquake. They're getting confused with the story of Korach.
Oh,
That's the story. So, what did Moshe do with the broken pieces? Did he leave them at the side of the mountain?
No. It was holy.
oh, yeah.
He couldn't do
He
that.
must have picked them up.
Must have picked them
He had to pick them up.
So
He
there's two
ground them
opinions.
up and made them into cement, and then he put them into a mold. and
Mosaic.
shape.
No, that was he made a mosaic project, and those people smashed it. So there are actually two opinions about what Moshe did with the pieces. One opinion is that Moshe put them in the ark with the whole tablets. Was together. Another opinion is that when Moshe came down with the whole tablets, the second set of tablets, where do you put them? He couldn't put them in the golden ark.
It wasn't built yet.
Wasn't built yet. Moshe hadn't even commanded them to build the tabernacle. He came down in Yom Kippur and he then gave them, I think the next day even, he gave them the commandment to build the ark. So they had to donate the gold, they have to make the ark. It took, I don't know, a few weeks, let's say, probably, something.
First, they had to get the gold. They already got rid of all the other gold that he did.
No, the Jews had plenty of gold. The gold wasn't the problem, but they had to donate, whatever, it took time. So during that time, where did he put it? Under a talus in his room. So it said Moshe built an ark, and he put the tablets in there. And interesting, when the Jewish people went out to war, they would take, we'll call it Moses' ark, to war. The golden ark stayed in the temple or in the tabernacle, and the wooden ark, the Moses' ark, went out to war. And the broken pieces were, according to one opinion, was in that Moses' ark. There's an interesting story, just to go off, I know we started late, but there's an interesting story in the book of Samuel. The Jewish people are fighting this Philistine. This is Samuel chapters 8, 9, 10. They're fighting the Philistines. It's earlier. And they go out to war and they lose. They think, oh, it's because we have Moses' ark. We don't have the golden ark. So they go back. They take the golden ark, and that gets captured too. The Philistines capture the golden ark. That's a whole story. It's a very interesting story. You can go look it up. But tonight we're going to focus on the opinion that says that the broken pieces were together with the whole. That's what it says in. Interesting. Okay, now in text number 1. Oh, excellent. Before we get text number 1.
We're not even started yet.
Exactly. Before we start, the fact that Moses broke the tablets, good thing or bad thing?
It indicated shall we say, a problem that Moses had with controlling his emotions.
So you think Moshe had a problem controlling his emotions? You agree with that statement? What do you think?
Well, I just,
That kind of knowledge I don't have.
I don't know.
I'm asking you to guess. I'm asking you. You know?
It was just when he saw what they were doing, he thought, or he felt that he was bringing something down from Hashem. And obviously they did something they shouldn't have done, so he felt that then maybe they weren't worthy of what he had.
So it wasn't that he lost control.
No,
It was a calculated decision.
I would think so.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. Good thing or bad thing? He smashed it.
I don't know.
You say bad thing.
I would say it was bad because it was something holy at the time.
Ron, what do you say? Good thing or bad thing? Throw out a guess. You're not getting graded on your answer. We're not going to think.
You won't get any more salad or
Right. There's chocolate cake in the fridge.
Mm.
So first of all, I'll address what Larry said. Moshe never lost control of his emotion. Moshe was a godly person. He never lost control. Moshe was a conduit for the Shekhinah spoke through Moshe. Everything that Moshe did, not only was he in control of himself, served one purpose, to serve Hashem. Moshe never lost control. Moshe was the most perfect human being to ever walk the earth. So it was sometimes we what do you call it when you project? Oh, we project our foibles and our character flaws onto other people. Moshe didn't lose control. That's number one. So what Barbara is saying actually is right. Moshe made a very calculated decision. And in fact, the Medrash says that the tablets was like a marriage document. God was the groom, the Jewish people are the bride. The tablets were the marriage document, and here the Jewish people went and cheated on them, on God. So what did Moshe do? He ripped up the marriage document, right? What's worse, according to Jewish law? What's worse, a single girl sleeps around, or a married woman sleeps around? Which one's worse, according to Jewish law? Which one's worse?
The second one.
Married woman, right?
I would think so.
No, it is. It is. That's the law, right? A married woman sleeps around. It's capital punishment. If a single woman sleeps around, or single man, by the way, same thing. The punishment is lashes. It's a very big difference. Moshe, in order to save the Jewish people, smashes the tablets. That's actually the example that Rashi gives. The question is, good thing or bad thing? So obviously, on first scope, it comes out it was a bad thing. Moshe smashed the gut. But if you look at text number 1, the last word, Asher Shibarta, text number 1 on page 158, Asher Shibarta, right? You see the word Asher Shibarta, that you broke, right? I want you to carve out new tablets to replace the old tablets that you broke. Look, jump to text number 2. The Gemara, 2a. The Gemara says, look at the end of text number 2. It is written that you broke. Rish Lakish says, Asher, like Asher comes from word like Yasher. You ever heard Yasher Koach? Yasher Koach, you know, Yasher Koach. Asher comes from word like Osher, straight, good. So Asher Koach, thank you for breaking them. You see in the text 2b, Rashi explains the Gemara. The word that Asher implies endorsement. God endorsed Moshe's decision and praised him for breaking the tablets. So so we have a bunch of questions. Number 1, why did God approve? Number 2, wasn't Moshe's to break. God gave it to Moshe to give to the Jewish people. Not yours to break, right? And
I don't know.
wasn't Moshe's. You
can view it that way.
Not view it. How do you view it that it is Moshe's?
It was a gift.
Not to Moshe. The Torah Torah belongs to the Jewish people. Torah Tziv Alonu Moshe, Merosh Akilas Yaakov. It's the first verse we teach every Jewish kid. The Torah that God commanded Moshe, it's an inheritance to every Jew. 10 Commandments weren't. Torah doesn't belong to Moshe. Torah belongs to the Jewish people.
Okay.
Number 1, and number 2. Let's say Moshe is right, like you said, the Jewish people didn't deserve it. You don't gotta break it. Put it away. Put it in your closet.
In my garage.
Put it in Larry's garage. Or you bury. I don't know. You do something until the Jewish people do teshuvah, right? You know, there's a rabbi, Chabad rabbi, he's still alive, by the way. I don't know if he's still. All right, listen to this. I don't know if he still does this, but his way, you're gonna love this story, Robert. He lives in a very wealthy community. Okay, I mean, uber, and he has a crazy budget to be built. He comes into a guy. He's famous for doing this, and I don't know if he still does, but he was. And he would go to a guy and ask for a donation. The guy would give him a donation. He'd look at the check, and if it wasn't the number he was expecting, he would take that. No, that's not what I came here for. Now, sometimes it worked, and sometimes the guy would say, "Get out!" Right? Right? I thought you would love the story. Mm-hmm. Moshe smashed the tablets. How did Moshe know the guy was going to give him another one? Right? The tablets were special, obviously, one of a kind. On eBay, how much do you think the tablets will go for, right?
Yeah, but God didn't give him another set of tablets.
Well, there wasn't a buy it now
He told Moshe
clause.
to bring up a set of tablets.
And he would write, right.
And he would write on the tablets. So...
I understand your point, but how do you know he would get another one? Forget it, let's say, right? You took a risk there, right?
Definitely.
Right? So,
What are the
let's...
odds in Vegas on that?
Exactly. The poly market. So the Gemara talks about the fact that Moshe broke the tablets in a few places. So look at text number 3. Rish Lakish, who is the same opinion, who said that God approved it, he says something crazy. Look at the words he says over there. Sometimes undermining the Torah is its foundation. Sometimes you got to stop during Torah in order to do Torah. So what Rish Lakish is saying over here is that in order to save the Torah, in order to save the tablets, you got to break the tablets. I mean, it was good that you did it. How could that good? And why did Moshe break the tablets? Because of the golden calf. Why would you save it? Right? Bury it somewhere. You know, in football, there's a custom that, let's say a team has a very, very bad game. What do they do with the football era? You ever heard of this? They take the ball and they bury it. They say we're taking this bad play, we're forgetting about it, right? We're burying it. We're a different team. We're gonna take that. You guys didn't show up to play. You never heard of that? Sometimes a coach takes the ball and they bury it.
Do they let the air out first?
I don't know. That's Tom Brady. Oh. Anyway, so
I've never seen a football grow from a tree, you know.
yeah, football tree, right? So
You get a football tree.
there's you might be familiar with this, but on Yom Kippur, there's a custom that women don't wear gold, and if they wear gold, women are not allowed to wear yellow gold on Yom Kippur. You ever heard of that?
No.
No, you never heard of it?
No.
Why? Are you familiar that the Kohen Gadol, this is last week's Parsha, had 8 garments, 4 linen and 4 gold? Mm-hmm. But when the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur walked into the Holy of Holies, he only wore the linen. He didn't wear the gold. Why? Because here is trying to atone. Yom Kippur was the day we received atonement for original national sin, the golden calf. So you don't want to remind God of the golden calf. So the Kohen Gadol doesn't wear gold. To remember that custom, women don't, or even men don't wear jewelry usually, but women don't wear yellow gold. Some people say white gold. You're not familiar? That's what it's all about. So based on that concept, here we don't want to remind God. I mean, just rub it in his face. I mean, I can remind God. Obviously, he remembers. You don't want to rub it in his face. So why are we taking the pieces and putting it in the ark? And what does Rish Lakish mean over here? That undermining the Torah is the foundation? So you're saying there's a good thing? Like the statement doesn't make any, it doesn't make any sense. It represents, Rashi explains that the golden calf is a stain of shame on the Jewish people. The nations of the world will forever go and say, God chose you and spoke to you. How the heck 40 days later do you worship the golden calf? It's that stupid act that comes back to bite you always. Like we all do stupid things, but there's a level of stupidity. Don't you want to? We all have stupid things we've done in our life, all of us, and we try to bury it. We don't want to be reminded about it. You don't hang, the certificate of stupidity in your living room, right? Next to my doctorate, I have my, like, what Rish Lakish is saying over here doesn't seem to make, to make any sense. So let's get into it. So first of all, there's a very interesting medrash that Moshe, after he smashed the tablets, Moshe says, maybe I did the wrong thing. There's a line.
Oops.
Why'd you say oops?
Maybe he did the wrong thing.
There's a line. My friend. I grew up with a friend who was a Superman fanatic. He always used to quote this line when Superman grabs somebody flying, and he says, "I got you," and the person says, "You got me."
Who's got you?
Who's got you? Right? Moshe is saying, "I'm praying for them." Who's praying for me? Right? I got them. Who's got me? I smashed the tablets. Maybe I did something wrong. Who's gonna pray for me? So God tells him, don't worry about it. Look at text number 4. Very interesting medrash. It says that God said to Moshe, don't worry about the first set of tablets because they only contain the 10 commandments. For the second tablets, I'm giving you a lot more. Medrash, Agada. and there's going to be a double set of wisdom. That means the second tablets weren't just a replacement; they came with more. They came upgrade. Tablets 2.0. Always about so the Jewish people got the first tablet. They didn't get the entire Torah. They didn't get everything. That means with the second tablets they got a lot more. So it seems that the breaking of the first tablets was a good thing, because with the second tablets they were able to tap in to get a lot more. So I understand why the first tablets had to be broken. All right, because it led to something greater, something bigger. But why you got to put them in the ark for?
As a reminder.
Yeah, but you would think that reminder is not. It says it reminds us of two things. First of all, we're given a small Torah, which is a shame, and it also reminds us of the terrible sin we did. I mean, it was bad. You can say it led to good things, but it was bad.
Yeah, but the tablets, even though they were broken, the shards are still holy.
100%. I didn't say you should throw them out. You could bury them. I mean, let me ask you a question. The tabernacle Jewish people built in the desert. Where is that tabernacle?
Good question.
It's not in Shiloh. It's not in Shiloh. Shiloh, the walls were stone, and the ceiling and the top was material. The tabernacle, Mishkan in the desert, the walls were wood overlaid with gold. Where are those? Where is that stuff? The walls. Where is that stuff? Answer is it's buried.
Well, that's what I thought, but where?
If I knew, I wouldn't be a rabbi in Pembroke Pines. I'd be leading tours somewhere else. It's buried somewhere in Israel. You gotta think, right? Jewish people came into the land of Israel. They buried it somewhere.
On the Temple Mount?
No, why would it? No. The Jewish people, they came into Israel. For 14 years, there was a Mishkan in Gilgal, I think. And then for 369 years, there was a Mishkan in Shiloh. The Mishkan in Shiloh was, like I said, was stone walls. Then you had the destruction of Shiloh by the Philistines when they captured the golden ark. And then there was I can't remember, there was a period there. And then King Solomon builds the ark, builds the temple. Hello. So yeah. So Moshe said the ark. You're right. The pieces are holy. You bury them. You don't got it. You don't got to put rub it in your face. Right? I mean, it just seems. Right. So the answer is in the last two words of text number 4. Last two words of text number 4, where it says Ki kaflayim l'sashia. It says that God will reveal to you the mysteries of wisdom, which contain double wisdom. So what is double wisdom? It's not only additional information, but there's also a higher level of wisdom, and it explains like this. You have to understand what is Torah. No, what's Torah? I don't have my clock over there. What's Torah? No.
What's Torah? I mean,
Instruction, no?
Okay, too broad. Where does Torah come from?
God.
God. I'm asking you a question.
It's a game plan.
No. Torah is God's wisdom, right? God's infinite, yes? Agree? Concur?
Mm-hmm.
His wisdom is infinite, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How can we comprehend it?
We are incapable
Yet we do.
because it's been explained by someone who was very close.
No. There's no close.
No?
There's no relation between finite and infinite. There's no relation. So today we in the class, the rest of the class, we'll talk about this seemingly impossible anomaly. how we human beings can learn Hashem's Torah.
Okay. The Torah stopped being infinite when it was written down.
No.
You can understand.
Just the
God's
opposite.
wisdom.
We don't understand anything. Yeah, take the Torah. By the way, it's interesting you bring that up. In fact, it's the oral law that's infinite, and the oral law explaining the written law. The written law without the oral law, it doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. You can't even read it without it.
Well, you can't read it if it's not, if it's oral, not written.
The vowels are part of the oral tradition, right?
It has to be.
I'm saying, but there's no vowels in the Torah, right? How do you know how to read it? Oral. And look behind. Look at all those books, right? It's nothing. No, that's not.
Okay.
But let's set up the question first. Text number 5, page 162. Ooh, wow, really?
I always got the Bible
Hashem
for an
concealed.
extra option.
Hashem concealed His desire and wisdom in the 613 commandments of the Torah and the laws, in the secrets of letters in the Torah, and the teachings of our sages as documented in Agoda and Midrash. He did this so that every person, neshama, dressed in the human body, would be able to grasp Hashem's transcendental will and wisdom with their human minds. And for this reason, the Torah is compared to water. Now, you've been to Niagara Falls?
Yeah.
Is the water
A few
different?
times.
Baruch Hashem. A humble brag.
We went there for our honeymoon.
Ah, look at that.
And then I had to work in the neighborhood. So I
It was just. It was.
Everybody our age did it.
It was.
that time.
It was so long ago. Back then, it was just a trickle.
You didn't have
Yeah.
cameras.
Yeah.
I even rode my bike around it.
Yeah. Do you got? It was still back then. It was still legal to take a barrel over, right? Yeah.
It's legal now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Absolutely
Not.
It's. I'm not talking in the water. I'm talking over the bridge.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But when you get to the American side, you got to pay all the tariffs. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, but you don't get away with duty free.
Anyway, so is the water on the top of Niagara Falls and the water on the bottom the same water? Yeah. The water comes from a high place to a low place. So the same thing is that the Torah is compared to water. Just as the water flows from a high point to a low point, so too that up there it's a different, it's a higher plane, it's a lower plane. So too the Torah descends, then travel there, descending through the mystery of spiritual levels from one level to the next, following the evolution of countless worlds until it can be dressed and understood because it relates to us in material concepts and physical phenomena. So when you read, let's say, a few weeks ago, we had a portion of Mishpatim, which spoke about very mundane things, right? You find something, you pick it up, you got to return it. If the guy's not there, you have to look for a sign, or if you see a sign, you have to wait. That's the law the way it is, and you could appreciate it, right? It means you find something, you got to give it back. Well, it depends how much money is in the wallet, right? Do I have time for a tangent story? There was a girl, an Israeli girl who went. She was looking for herself, spirituality. She went to India and she joined one of these ashram. Thank you. I was going to say that. I wasn't sure if it was right. And she was all into spirituality, and she was going to convert. And her parents are going crazy. They weren't that religious, but converting to Hindus, whatever. So they come home, please, Pesach or something. Speak to the rabbi. To go to the rabbi is a young guy. He had no idea, right? He didn't have any training. You got to speak to our daughter. She had no idea. She came in, he went blank. He had no idea. He said, the only idea that popped into his mind was the mitzvah of the day. Rambam has a mitzvah of the day. It goes over here. The mitzvah of the day was return. If you find something, you got to give it back. Shavas Aveda. So she leaves his office like, this guy's an idiot. I came to talk about God and mysticism and this guy. Anyway, she goes back to India, and it was a day that she was going to convert. Whatever, I don't know, whatever they do over there.
There is a philosophy.
Maybe that's when they color in the circle.
Your third eye.
Yeah. Anyway, and they're walking up the steps, and she finds a wallet. She goes to the guy and she says, "Oh, they found the wallet. One of the tourists came." The guy says, "Take the money, throw out. But it has ID inside. People can't forget about it. Just take the money and throw out the wallet." And then she remembered what she learned with the rabbi. The tourist says, "No, that's not right." And she turned around and she went back to Israel.
There is a philosophy that says Buddhism and Judaism are compatible, and you can be a Buddhist and still be a very devout Jew.
No,
I'm just quoting what I've been told by other people.
I don't care what other people have told you. People say you could be a Jew and a Christian too. You could be a Jew and a Muslim too. But you're saying no because no.
No,
But listen, whoa.
Go ahead.
Everything comes, morality and all that comes from God and comes through the Torah. So the fact that every religion has similar ideas which are compatible to the Torah doesn't mean you confuse the two. Being Torah, Judaism is exclusive. What they try to do is, in order to rope people in, they say, "Oh, you don't have to change your being. You don't have to change what you're doing. You see, this is kind of the same." No. So yeah, does Buddhism maybe teach about being one way? So I have no idea.
Well, they say Buddhism is a philosophy that you adopt, not a religion that you convert to.
That's part of Buddhism. But there's part of Buddhism is absolute idolatry.
It is?
Yes, and to be very careful. Be very careful.
Okay. And now I know what to tell people.
And
when
number
they
one,
say
number
that.
one, and number two, there is absolutely. I know I'm on camera. There's absolutely nothing the other religions can offer you that you can't find in Torah. If you haven't found it in Torah, either you're not asking the right rabbi, you're not asking the right question, you're not looking in the right place. There's nothing that another religion can offer you that's not found in Torah. Absolutely nothing, because it says in Kabbalah, God looked into the Torah and created the world. You tell me. I was actually going over this once with Ben. There's not one story in Disney, whatever it is, that they haven't ripped off from a medrash or something. Not one. Arthur and I told him about Arthur, the sword and the stone.
Yeah.
Where do you think they got that story from? That's medrash. Moshe's staff was stuck in the ground. I ever told you that story? Yeah. You know, the girl locked in the tower, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, let down your hair.
That's in the book of Judges. Yiftach's daughter. Not the hair part, but there's no reason for a Jew to look somewhere else. We got the answers. We got all the stories. I remember there was once a guy in camp lamenting that why do we make plays? Guys want to copy movies. So why do you guys do a book from a story from the book of Judges or something? Like, we have such great stories. Why are you going over there? Anyway, sorry. So going back, if you go late, it's all Larry's fault. Not the fact that I came late or I decided to bring in a million stories. It's all Larry's fault. It's always easy when you have a scapegoat. See, I'm going to become a politician. I've learned how to blame other people. I'm running for mayor. Do you see that, by the way, that Mamdani came out blasting what Israel and America is doing in Iran? So some guy wrote, "Dude, just clear the garbage." New York has a big problem with snow and garbage. Like, just be quiet and clear the snow and the garbage. Anyway,
Focus on your job.
exactly.
Okay?
So you have a story. You have a law in the Torah. So you have the law in the Torah the way you understand it. But the truth of the matter is, there's a law in the Torah. Even the way you understand it, you peel back layers. You don't understand it. So there's a famous idea that I remember learning this. The Rebbe says, "Is respecting your parents a logical mitzvah or an illogical mitzvah?" We know there's some laws that are illogical, right? You can't mix wool and linen. Illogical, doesn't make any sense. You can't mix milk and meat. Illogical, doesn't make any sense. There's right mikveh. Then there are laws like that we understand. You can't steal, right? You can't murder. We all agree. Is respecting your parents logical, illogical? So most people answer
Logical.
logical, right? They brought you into the world. like the parents of old would say. You can't say this to kids today. What your father used to say to you, I brought you into this world, I'll take you out. Right, these days, arrested, or cancel. But the Rebbe speaks about, I think it's in this example, says, so you have to respect your parents because they brought you up and took care of you. What if a person goes to their father and says, how much you think a parent spends on a kid? From year 0, when they're born, until they're 20, if they're normal, 22, and move out.
$372,492.61.
Right?
There's inflation, so I don't know.
Whatever. Let's say it's $500,000. Let's say, right? Whatever number it is, right? And you were talking about paying for childcare, whatever it is. Let's say $1,000,000, whatever it is. If I went over to a 30-something, said, adopt this child, and all expenses paid, $1 million. Let's say the guy goes over to his parent and says, here's $1 million. Well, interest, $1.5 million. You need something with your computer, or you need something's wrong to drive you to the doctor's appointment? Don't call me. I don't know you. Can he do that? Is he now exempt from honoring his father and mother? Huh? No. Let's say
Jewish, he's not.
no. I'm saying, but let's say his parents saved his life or gave him life. Let's say he saves his parents' life. Is he now exempt or even? Let's say his parent is not a good person. His parent is an obnoxious person. Well, let's say a person's parents are mentally incapacitated. The law is you still have to honor your parents. In the words of Maimonides, even if a guy's with all his important friends and he's wearing expensive clothing, and his mother, who's never not so normal, walks in, spits in his face, slaps and screams and curses him, he's not allowed to get upset. Maimonides says he can't get upset. So now I'm asking you a question again: is honoring your parents a logical or an illogical mitzvah? The answer is it's both. On the surface, it's logical, but then you start peeling back layers, it's illogical. Meaning, because every mitzvah, you have the level where it's a commandment, and you can understand it, but ultimately, it's God's will. And since God is beyond our logic, not really, I don't want to use the word illogical, but since God is beyond our logic, it's beyond us. Like Maimonides says in text number 6, just like no human can understand God's intellect, so too we can't appreciate it. So you have here two parts. You have the part we understand, and then and simultaneously you have the part you can't understand. They both happen in the same part. Now, the whole tablets represent the part you understand. You get it. The words are engraved. The first tablets, the broken pieces, represent the fact that you don't understand. You're broken. Barbara, you're going to appreciate this because you're a teacher. When a kid is whole, you can't teach him anything. They learned everything. They know. When do you learn? When you're broken. When you realize you don't know. You have these kids that are arrogant. I know. I remember I had a niece. Now she's an adult. She had such an annoying habit. She would ask you a question and answer, I know. No, you don't know.
Why are you asking?
It was a reflexive, but it was such an obnoxious habit, right? Meaning, in order to learn, you came to learn, not to fact check. To learn means you're broken, you don't know. So, in order to learn, on one hand, said you have to immerse yourself. You have to try to understand. On the other hand, in order to really tap into God's Torah, you have to realize that you're broken. And this is why the first tablets and the second tablets have to be present together in the ark. Let's look at it inside. Text 8a. So the Midrash, 166. The Midrash, Rabbi Alexander says, if an ordinary person makes use of a broken vessel, it's embarrassing. Right? You serve in Beis Hamikdash, it has to be whole, right? If I served you something, a chipped glass, Even don't worry about it. I smoothed out the thing. You won't crack. You won't cut your lip. Still, it doesn't look nice, right? You don't serve. You know when you're supposed to use a chipped glass. No, guys, come on. I'll give you a hint. It has to do a chipped plate, a chipped dish. It has to do with an upcoming holiday.
Pesach?
Yep.
Why do you use
When you pour for the wine for the 10 plagues, it says in Kabbalah you're supposed to do it in a chipped or damaged, because it represents God's wrath and everything else.
So if we got a paper plate, we carry it a little bit.
Or a paper plate, you're throwing it out. Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
I never knew. I never knew that.
I didn't know that.
So when you talk about dishes, or you want to hold water, a broken vessel is bad. But when you're talking about learning, when you're talking about approaching godliness, being a broken vessel is good. You ever heard of the Kotzker Rebbe? Kotzker Rebbe Menachem Mendel Morgenstern. He said, "There's nothing as straight as a slanted ladder. There's nothing as whole as a broken heart." Right? That's the way. In order to approach godliness, you have to feel yourself less. There's one of my favorite stories. So the Alter Rebbe, right, was a great tzaddik, right? And his Rebbetzin Sterna was also very, very special. So their first son was Dave Ber. Dave Ber grew up to be the second Chabad Rebbe. It's called the Middle Rebbe. And one day when he was a kid, the Dave Ber had learned a lot. Thank you very much. Had learned a lot, and I guess I don't know. He was strutting. He was feeling very good about the fact that he learned a lot. Came a chassid to him and said, "Beryl," that's what they called him. "Beryl, come here." Says, "You feel good about yourself, huh? You learned a lot, huh? You feel good. You're accomplished." He says, "Let me tell you something. You think you're accomplished?" He says, "Who's your father?" The Rebbe. "Who's your mother?" The Rebbetzin. He says, "They're the greatest tzaddikim of the generation. When you were conceived and they were bringing your neshama into the world, they had first pick, right? Which neshama did they choose? They chose, in the sports, they got the number one pick in the draft, right? Creme de la creme, right? You know what my parents were? My parents were poor, simple farmers. I don't even know. By the time that I came along, I got from the dregs of the barrel, right? The bottom, the dregs of the barrel, right? So get over yourself, right? All your learning accomplishment, not you." So the kid was crushed. He went to his father and he started crying. He realized all his learning was not because of him. All his learning was really because of his father. So the Alter Rebbe calls the chassid. The chassid's like, "Oh man, I'm in trouble now, right? I really gave it to the Rebbe's son." Rebbe tells the chassid, I don't remember which chassid it was. Rebbe tells the chassid, "I want to thank you because you turned my barrel into a chassid. Now he's going to work. Before it was all coming easy." That means, when it comes time to approach Judaism, when it comes time to approach God's Torah, you always have to remember it's Hashem's Torah, and you're always lacking. That's the idea. So on one hand, Hashem gave you the Torah, and you have to learn, and you have to invest, and you have to understand. You can't just be saying, gibberish, uga chaka, yum yum, whatever they dance around the fire. On the other hand, you always have to remember that it's Hashem's wisdom, and it just like, I think, what do they say? According to physics, a bee shouldn't be able to fly. Right, the wings are too short and the body's too heavy, but it does. According to physics, not really physics. According to the math, it doesn't add up. A human being should not be able to understand God's Torah. It's God's wisdom. You're finite. There's no what's closer to infinity, 1 or a billion. Neither. Exactly. No matter how great of a human being you are, and no matter how smart you are, you shouldn't be able to understand God's Torah. The fact that you do is a gift. See, when we approach it, we always have to approach it, we're broken. Meaning, really, it shouldn't happen. On the other hand, you have to invest yourself. But only when you're broken, you'll really grow. An example Alter Rebbe gives in text 8b is like the seed in the ground. When does the seed grow? When it disintegrates in the ground, then it grows a tree. So only when you make yourself small, when you realize you have something to learn, a person comes into class and thinks they know everything, then don't come. Leave. Well, you came to show me how smart you are. Have your own YouTube class, right? In order to learn, and by the way, the greatest people in the Torah, the common denominator is they make themselves zero. When Abraham's speaking to God, what does he say? I'm dust and ashes. I'm nothing. And Moshe says, I'm a nobody. Right? Everyone who accomplished great things is because they made themselves zero. The more you make yourself zero, the more you let godliness in. The more you're broken, the more you can learn. And this is what we always have to, and this is what you always have to remember. So why does God compliment? Going back, why does God compliment Moshe? It's because at the first tablets, they were the level of tzaddikim. What's a tzaddik? It's perfect. But when you're perfect, you know where to grow. Once they served the golden calf and they smashed the pieces. Now they're a level of a Baal Tshuva. And a Baal Tshuva, a penitent man, there's always room to grow. Now they realize, now the Torah is not just a surface level. Now we can dig deeper. Now you have the Agadata, the Midrash. There's so much more. Text number 9, page 247. God thanked Moshe for breaking the tablets because he broke them before the eyes of the people. This gave them a sense of humble brokenness. Huh? That's on page 168. What did I say? Oh, sorry. It's, on my book is here. Sorry.
His book's got different numbers.
Yeah, sorry.
He's working from a different book.
Yeah. Sorry.
It says the answers.
Yeah, exactly. This gave them a sense of humble brokenness, which turned them into proper vessels for higher level of wisdom.
By the way, it's Rabbi Isaac. That taught Doper how to be a chassid.
Oh, okay. Isaac Humler. Isaac Humler.
I don't know his last name.
Okay, so
Rabbi Isaac.
Humler. That's what it is.
Humility.
So he said, and he says, and that's the that's the idea. So on one hand, you have to understand that you're a Yid, and Hashem chose you, and you got to walk around with a little bit of Jewish pride, right? Hashem gave me the Torah. I matter, right? I'm hot stuff. On the other hand, why you hot stuff? Why you invested? It's because Hashem. Because it's God's Torah, right? That's important. And we all have to invest all our capabilities, but at the same time, you have to realize that we're mission oriented, and that's what the and that's a lesson. And we'll end off with a line from Pirkei Avot, which says, "In a place where a penitent man stands, a righteous man can't stand, because you're righteous, you're perfect, right? But a penitent man can always push himself even higher." Reminds me of the famous joke. Maybe we'll end up with the joke where the Jewish kid and the Christian kid are talking. Remember this one? And the Christian kid goes to the Jewish kid. So, are you in public school? He says, no. What are you? I'm in yeshiva. So what's that? It's a Jewish school. What's the difference? Well, in Jewish school, you learn to become a rabbi. What happens after you graduate from being a rabbi? That's it. You're just a rabbi for your whole life. So what about you? You're in public school? Yes, a Christian kid says, no. I'm in Christian school. So what's the difference between public school? Oh, you continue in Christian school, you go to the academy, whatever they call it, seminary, you become a priest. And then what happens after that? It's it? Like a rabbi? No. If you do community service and this and that, whatever it is, eat enough wafers and drink enough wine and whatever it is, you become
you can become a bishop.
A bishop. And that's it. The Jewish kid says, no, if you're really special, whatever it takes you do whatever there, you fill in all the check marks, you become archbishop. And that's it.
You can go to
so-
Cardinal from
and after
there.
that, you be really big. They give you instead of a white yarmulke, a red yarmulke, and you become a cardinal. That's it. Oh no! But if you're really something unique, special, whatever it is, all the red yarmulkes and the Yom Kippur kittles, they get together and they elect you to become the Pope. Says, and then you're back to a white yarmulke. It says, and it says you're the Breslov yarmulkes. It says, and that's it. He's like, come on, man, what do you want from me? To become JC? He's like, why not? One of us did it. Right? All right, have a good week.
Okay,